welcome to Michelle Sews Again. I'm Michelle. Today is Friday. You know what that means. It is hashtag Friday Sews. The hashtag was started by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. I'll link her below if you haven't watched her, which if you're watching me, you've definitely watched her. But if you haven't, go check her out. She brings a lot of great content to YouTube, sewing related. And also, if you haven't checked out the hashtag Friday Sews, you need to go and do a search because you're going to go down a rabbit hole and meet a ton of wonderful sewing people on YouTube. I would say both men and women, but I haven't really come across any men that have done it. But maybe I need to search for that. So yeah, it's just a hashtag where people kind of take you through what they've done for the week, maybe what their plans are. They might give you a review or two, and then they throw a little dash of life updates in there as well. So it's a lot of fun. Go check it out. All right, so I'm gonna start with what I've made this week. When I was making my list, I realized that I was more productive than I realized. I didn't think I was gonna have too much to talk about today, but I actually do. All right, so the first thing that I made was the Reese Knit Tunic by Style Arc. And I made it in a really fun, vibrant, like turquoise and lime green stripe. And I'll pop a picture up. So, but what I thought was really interesting about this pattern was the way that it was cut this way, that it allowed you to either color block or pattern mix, or in my case, I alternated the direction of the stripes, which is the picture on the pattern cover, which is what inspired me to buy it in the first place. I'll be honest, when I bought it, I didn't realize it was for knits, even though it says it right in the name, Reese Knit Tunic. Sometimes you gloss over things you don't want to see, right? And anyway, so I entered this in the T-shirt for summer hashtag challenge that's going on Instagram, that's hosted by Sew Joey, and she is on both Instagram and YouTube. I highly encourage you to go check her out. I will link her channel below. But she started this challenge. It runs through, I think, June 30th. You just have to make a t-shirt or a t-shirt dress and post it on Instagram, tag Sew Joey, and she's got a ton of prizes. Like, it's a really nice challenge. Who doesn't need t-shirts for summer? And you can make it in any style that you want. Like, I don't wear a lot of basic t-shirts except to sleep in and lounge around the house. I don't tend to wear them out as part of like an outfit. But the Reese Tunic, it's longer, it's got some shaping to it, and it's got that interesting detail of the directional, the way that you can change up the direction of the stripes or color block or whatever. So I thought that was a good one to enter. Now, what I've discovered when I was making that, it's, gosh, I've made a few knit items recently, and I'm discovering I must be way in the minority here. I just don't enjoy sewing with knits. I just don't like it. I also, like, in my wardrobe, I don't have a ton of knits in clothing, again, that I wear out. Really, the majority of what I have in knit is loungewear and stuff just to lounge around the house in. Anyway, so I do want to be good at all sewing, so I am going to continue. I bought a lot of jersey in May, right? Or a lot of different knits. So I'm pointing this way because that's where my sewing room is. Anyway, so I have a lot of knit to sew up. I just am not looking forward to it. Anyway, I do like the way that the Reese Knit Tunic came out. I'm gonna do a quick review of the pattern sometime in the next few days, so stay tuned for that. I also made the Lucky Penny wallet. It came out so cute. It was so easy to make. I got this kit in my thread crate box from May, and the kit came, it had the pattern, it had this cork fabric, and it had this this closure, and you can make, the pattern has 3 different closure options, included in the pattern, one of which is just like a strap that connects from one side to the other so that you can slip the flap into. And it comes with enough fabric to do it that way. And then it also came with this closure. And then there's also an option to have a snap closure a magnetic snap closure in the directions, but it didn't come with that hardware. So I would have done this one anyway, just because I think it's cool looking. The cork was very interesting to work with. It was not difficult. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. I wish I would have thought to line it because you can see through those cutouts, you can see the backing of the fabric. But it's kind of like a brushed, almost like a brushed felt, I don't know, as the backing. And then the cork is very thin. So it was very easy to cut. It was very easy to sew. Even when I was sewing through, I don't know if you can see, there you go. Even when I was sewing through all the pocket layers at once, it wasn't difficult at all. Now the only thing with this is I don't use this kind of wallet at all. I haven't used one like this in years because I don't write checks anymore. And that's, to me, that's what this size or shape of a wallet is for. Before I moved here, I couldn't even tell you the last time I wrote a check. It literally had been years. I pay all my bills electronically, including, you know, mortgage, rent, whatever. When I moved here, my landlord requires us to pay with a check. So I had to order checks, but I just keep them in, you know, in a safe place in the house because literally the only check that I write is my monthly rent. So I'm not going to use this, but I think it came out really great, and it's a head start on Christmas gifts, right? I think I might give it to my sister. She doesn't watch this channel, so she won't know. She doesn't know about this channel, so she won't know. Is anybody else like that? I don't have anybody in my real life that knows that I'm doing this. I think it allows, I know it sounds silly because it's the whole frickin' internet, but I feel like because I don't know anybody in real life, other than like I've met like Heather from Textile Tailored Thoughts, in person, but she's from here. But anybody in my real life doesn't know, which makes me feel like this is more anonymous, which I know is silly because it's, like I said, the whole internet, but I don't know, it just gives me the more freedom to talk the way that I want to talk, if that makes sense. I know it's silly. Anyway, all right, so the number 3 thing that I made was I practiced the FBA, which was on my June to-do list, on a new Hope top, and I'll insert that here. And that experience was interesting. I had bought the Cashmerette Master Fitting class from her website. Excellent class. She walks you through step by step. Like the visuals are very clear. And the fact that you can go back and watch again and stop and pause, and which is what I did, made it very good. The only thing is, I thought that I trued up the side seam after I made my FBA, and for some reason I still had extra width at the bottom of the front of my top, which honestly I ended up liking it, but I need to learn. I wasn't expecting that, and so in a top where I don't want it, I need to know how to correct that. So I need to go back and pay better attention to the video class and fix that part of it. But the FBA part came out great. I made the same size as I made in my first Hope top, which fit, I mean, but it fit. And it was a little bit snug across the bust, not so much that it was pulling, it's just I could feel my top on me, and I don't like that. So I made the same size, I did the full bust adjustment, and I really liked the fit of the new Hope top that I made. And I didn't put the loop and button closure on the back this time. I just seamed up the back and it fits right over my head. So I didn't have to fuss with that part. So that was number 3. And then number 4 was this. I made another bellbird top. This is number 4. I'll put up some video on this. I absolutely love this print. I don't absolutely love the fabric. This is one of my Spoonflower fabrics, and it is in it's their least expensive cotton. I forget what they call it, premium cotton or something like that. But it's very much a quilting cotton texture. There's no drape to it. It's very structured and stiff. I think it works fine in this top. I will definitely wear this top. I freaking love this print. It has, it's got a pink background with some graphic, darker pink lines in it, and then just some digital print leaves. And then the flowers actually look like they're painted. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that yellow flower, those actually look like paint brush strokes, like a thick oil paint brush stroke, which I think is kind of cool. Anyway, so I absolutely love this pattern. This is my 4th one that I've made. I will continue to make this. I did forget, because it's been quite a while since I made one, I did forget that the last time I made it, I added I think a smidge to the hemline width, because it kind of comes in like this and it fits me, but it's just a little snugger than I would care for. And the last time I made it, and it hits me right below my natural waist, and I prefer for things to hit me closer to my hips. So the last time I made it, I added, I want to say like 1 inch to the hem width and then 2 inches to the length. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because it's one of the few patterns that I have where I printed it and pieced it together myself. There weren't a whole lot of pieces, so it's fine. But what I'm going to do is now that I am into tracing, I'm going to trace it out and trace it with the extra width and extra length so that I don't have to worry about remembering that for next time. So other than that, I love it. I'm going to wear it. And the only other thing is I feel like the facing is just a little bit too skinny. So it doesn't, I don't know. I feel like I would like it if it was a little bit longer. It would lay in there better. It lays flat, so that's not the problem. And I guess I could top stitch it down. Maybe I'll do that. Anyway, but I'm thinking maybe next time I might even do a bias tape instead of the facing. Anyway, that's it. Love this top. And I made this, I cut it out and sewed it all like within 2 hours on Tuesday night. All right, so that's everything I made this week. What I started this week, I started it last night after work, is So Do It Emma. She is both on Instagram and here on YouTube. She's much more active on Instagram, and she is just adorable. I say that about everybody because I love everybody, but she had put out a story that said something about how she wanted to make the Pietra pant by Closet Core Pattern, but she didn't see any makes on Instagram that represented her size. I have the Pietra pant pattern as well, so I wrote to her and said, I agree, I haven't seen any represented in my size either. Why don't we be the representation? And she, I think, was already on it, and she had already chatted with a couple of other ladies on Instagram. And so we're going to be putting out our versions of the Pietra on Instagram and start as the Pietra Plus hashtag. So I started my shorts last night. I cut the pattern out, I cut the fabric out, I sewed the pockets together, and then realized that I must have cut the pocket out wrong, because when you flip the pocket up, I think it's all supposed to be the same size as the front pattern piece, and mine wasn't. Mine was skinnier than the front pattern piece. So I might have to cut out new pockets, and I don't have any more of my fabric left, which means my pockets are gonna be a different fabric than the rest of my shorts, which I think will be okay as long as I can find some fabric in my stash that works with the fabric that I chose, because it's kind of out there, which I love. But anyway, so that's kind of what I'm working on right now. Last week in Friday Sews, I told you about my very lengthy goals list. It had, how many things did it have on it? Had 12 items on it of things that I plan to do in the month of June, because I am in solidarity with Sarah from Naughty Gnome, where I'm not buying any fabric or any patterns for the month of June. So I put together a list of things that I need to work on. Now, some of it is sewing, which I did, obviously, quite a bit. And some of it is maintenance and just organization type things that I've been putting off. And I'm like, you know what? Now is the time to do it. Just put it on my list and get it checked off. I checked off like half my list in 1 week. I was pretty impressed with myself. So let me take you through what I've checked off. All right, so I had already, in all fairness, number one was already checked off when I told you about my list last week, and that was my learning how to adjust my stitch tension on my serger. But I'm still counting it because it was 1 of 12 and it's checked off. Number two was organizing my scrap pile. So I had a big, if you recall, I had a big like mound of scrap fabric. And what I wanted to do was organize it and separate it, all the itty bitty pieces, into one pile that I can use for my closet core poof that I'm gonna do at some point in the future. And then the bigger pieces that could be used for, you know, sleeves or accents on shoulders, or, you know, just smaller pieces on a garment if I wanted to like pattern mix or whatever, or even Carmen Salome recommended that I use it for pockets, which I thought that was a great idea. So I separated the two, and I have 2 baskets now, one with the itty bitty pieces and one with the bigger pieces. The hardest part of the whole thing was deciding some of those in-between pieces. Is that big enough to get something out of, or is it just an itty bitty? That was the hardest part. And then I did have, when I was going through it at the bottom of the stack, I had some really big pieces that were over a yard. I was like, these should go back in my fabric stash. So that's what happened. I had, I think, 3 pieces maybe that just went back in my fabric stash. So that got checked off. Number 3 was I made a t-shirt for Joe's challenge, the t-shirt for summer challenge. That was my re-knit tunic. I practiced my FBA on my hope top. That was on my list. I still need to do more practice, but I did. I did that. I made the Lucky Penny wallet, which was on my list. And then I made progress on my summer sweater. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I've been posting progress sporadically, but I'll see if I can find a picture that I posted last week and put it up here so you can see the comparison of where I was last week and where I am this week. So I've worked on it a little bit almost every night. Not every night, but almost every night. And so this is where I am now. So this is a little more than halfway through the front or back. It doesn't really matter. Let me see. I haven't done this yet. So it'll hit about here. So yeah, I'm about halfway done. That's gonna be so pretty. Do you wanna see my project bag? I have so many of these project bags, but this one I think is fun. A friend of mine gave that to me for Christmas one year when I was working at my last company. Okay, so those are the things that I've checked off my list. I've checked off 5 things completely, and then 1 thing is in progress, but I've made progress on it. I have to be honest, I did commit to not buying any fabric or any patterns, and I did break my fabric commitment. I bought a piece of fabric, but it's for a good cause. I'm going to be participating in something at the end of the month, and I'm not going to talk about it yet. So I'm not going to show you the fabric. I'm not going to talk about it, but you've got to stay tuned. It'll be a collaboration kind of thing at the end of the month. So look for it around June 28th. So I'll just leave you with that little teaser. Okay, and then life-wise, I don't have a lot going on. My husband has been out of town since Tuesday. He went back up to Baltimore, Philly, and visited family. So his sisters are in the Baltimore area. That's where he grew up. And then his daughters are in Philly. So he just spent a little bit of time visiting all of them. And he's flying home this morning. So I can't wait for him to come home. I had another Zoom sewing call with some of my YouTube friends Tuesday night. And that's when I made my bellbird top. It was during our call, so that was a lot of fun. I really enjoy that time. I enjoy getting to know them, and I enjoy like just being able to talk about sewing and, you know, I do this, what do you do, kind of thing. It's been a lot of fun. And then the other thing is I get my hair done tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll get my roots touched up. I'm getting a haircut. My hair is so like, this is the longest my hair's been in years. Anyway, so that's about it for me. If you have made any of the patterns that I've made, or you have any questions about any of the patterns that I made, let me know. I haven't been doing this, but I'll put my measurements in the description box so that as you see me modeling my makes, and you're wondering, like, you know, how would that look on you if you think that your body type is similar to mine or your body size is similar to mine, but you're not sure, you can look at my measurements and kind of gauge it from there. I think that's all I have. I will be posting, I've got several review videos that I need to do. I like to do these review videos from both a beginner's perspective and from a plus size perspective, because I think there's not that many of either of those out there. And I think it can be helpful. And I try to be as thorough as I can, but you know, if something was easy for me, then I kind of gloss over it. I kind of focus on the parts that were more difficult. So hopefully I'm capturing all the things that would be helpful to anybody that are interested in any of these patterns. Anyway, that's about all I have today. I will talk to you soon in my next video, which is probably going to be a review video. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it so much. Wherever you are, I hope it is beautiful weather. The sun is shining like beautiful here, and I hope that you're able to get in some sewing. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.